What's up, everybody? Welcome back to It's Not a Midlife Crisis. I'm Mid-Crisis Mama, and this is another episode of Wednesday Wellness. Today, I want to give a little bit of a weight loss update / summary of basically what's been going on all this year, what things I've implemented, what has changed, and specifically how I know that this time is different. I'm going to break down a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about over on social media. So if you don't already follow me on Facebook and Instagram, please go over there and do that so you don't miss out on any of those topics. Most importantly, it's a change of mindset. If I had not worked on what was going on up here, there would be absolutely no way that I could make any physical changes. Everything came down to what I was dealing with mentally, emotionally, and I had to deal with that first in order to take charge. Your mental state is going to completely determine how far you can go. So if you don't get your mind in charge of your body is going to control you, and that's all there is to it. So what's different? In January, let me just clarify that I didn't do this as a New Year's resolution. It just happened to take place in January. As I had mentioned in previous videos, pretty much the whole year prior, I had been going through a lot, getting over things in my relationship and really trying to get myself stable after coming out of that. And I kind of just woke up, I think, one day in January, and I had sorted everything out, and I made a decision that I was going to focus on my health. I stopped focusing on my weight. Every other year, it had always been about trying to lose weight, and that was the problem because I wanted to change the number without changing anything else. And when it comes to weight loss, you're not in control over that. You are not in control over the number. The weight loss is a result of the other changes that you make. So what happened with me is I wanted to take control over my health, and that was going to be overall. The weight just happened to be a big part of that. That was the biggest visible issue that I had, but that was not the biggest issue that I had overall. I think a lot of people know when you're trying to change certain habits and you don't stick it out long enough, it can feel like you've made a mistake, you've messed up, and now you've blown your whole week, month, year, and you're going to start over on another day. And that was a thing that I told myself. I was not going to allow myself permission to say, I'm starting over. I removed mistakes from my vocabulary. There are no mistakes. I cannot mess up. I'm not being graded. This is me. This is my life. I am focusing on changing. And there's no messing up if you're focusing on changing. If I do something that isn't necessarily in my plan, I brush it off and move on. And that has prevented me from having major anxiety about what it is that I'm doing. I am able to just live every day, dropping the stress of feeling like I have to reach a certain goal or I have to do something by a certain date. It was a game changer for me. I started off the year with one goal. I most importantly had to get my blood sugar under control. So above all else, that was the thing that I was focusing on. I had a major sugar addiction. I could not have sugar or carbs. It was an absolute nightmare. All day, every day. That it was just, my body just craved it. And I literally would eat things while crying because I didn't actually want it. I knew I didn't want it. I knew I didn't need it. But it was like I had to have it. And that was absolutely the number one thing that I had to kick because I couldn't even think straight. There was going to be nothing else that I could work on until I got that under control. So the very first thing that I focused on was cutting out the sugar and the carbs. I started looking up some recipes. I spent really the first 3 months of the year kind of preparing myself to really make some changes because any other time I've tried to do this, I've always just I've completely bombed it because I really wasn't ready. So I spent time looking up recipes, finding things that I would actually enjoy, testing new recipes before I felt like I was going to really full on do anything. It took a good 30 days. And it was really, really difficult. It was the hardest thing that I've done as far as getting over the mental challenge of staying consistent. But I knew I had to. And so I did not allow myself any sugar. I did not allow myself any carbs. Happened to be right about 30 days that I noticed I didn't have those cravings anymore. And I could walk through the store and pass right by some of the stuff that I used to be compelled to buy without giving it a second thought. So I knew that after those 30 days, I was going to be okay. And before I knew it, all of the things that I used to eat, I wasn't even thinking about those things anymore. I started really enjoying the new things that I had introduced into my diet. And it just spiraled from there, which was amazing. An old mentality I had was that it had to be all in, cold turkey, all or nothing. I was either going to have a perfect diet, a perfect workout regimen, a perfect everything. Otherwise, I was a complete failure. That had to change. I stopped allowing myself to think that everything had to be whatever my mind thought perfect was, and just say I'm going to work on being a little bit better every day. That's it. It doesn't have to be all things. I'm going to introduce a little bit of change at a time, and that's it. I'm not going to commit to anything big. I'm not going to cold turkey cut everything off. I'm not going to say I have to get 60-minute workouts in every single day. I'm not going to say that I'm never going to be able to have a snack again, or I'm not going to be able to have whatever my favorite foods are. I got to cut all of that out. I did not allow myself to stop everything all at once, because every time that I did that in the past, I would last a little while and think I was doing great. And then the second that I did one little thing that wasn't in line with what I thought was perfection, I considered myself a failure. And I think a lot of times we set ourselves up for self-sabotage. And just the same way as we can be addicted to certain foods or other things, we can be addicted to excuses. And we're waiting for an opportunity to say, oh, I messed up, throw in the towel, we'll do it again later. You know what I mean? And I had to get over that because I sabotaged myself all the time. I didn't feel that I was worth it. I didn't think that it would ever work out for me. So I said no more. I am only committing to doing what I can, focusing on today and focusing on small little changes. And what eventually happened is it went a lot faster than I thought it would because I didn't set myself up for failure. So I ended up speeding through the year and having far more success than I thought I was going to be at the beginning, when I used to tell myself if I only made small little changes, I'm not going to see the results that I want to see, when in reality, the long-term results have actually ended up being far more beneficial than they ever were in the past when I tried to do everything all at once. Another thing that I had to get over was thinking that I needed somebody to help me. In the past, I said I needed somebody to go to the gym with me. I needed somebody to help me get up in the morning. I needed somebody to meal prep with me. I needed somebody to be doing it with me to feel like I was going to be motivated to stay on track. The reality was I needed to remove toxic people from my life to be able to see that I actually had the ability to do it all by myself. I didn't need anybody to do it at the same time with me. I just needed to get out of the toxic environment that I was in that was preventing me from believing in myself. And that may not be your case, but let me just say, if you are in a relationship where the person that you are with does not want to see you better yourself, they do not want to see you succeed, they do not want to see you improve your life, get out. Because at the end of the day, you are more important than that relationship. If that person loved you, they would want the best for you. And that's all it comes down to. Do not allow anybody to prevent you from being the best version of yourself. Because in a relationship, you're supposed to make each other better. It should not be a one-sided relationship. If you are making their life better and they are making you miserable, get out. That's it. And that's what I had to do. Because while I have to be accountable for my part in it 100%, I also had to understand that this person did not want me to be the best version of myself. they were doing things to sabotage me as well, and it just wasn't worth it. So that person now being gone out of my life, yeah, absolutely. I've been able to now take control of me, focus on myself, put all that energy that I put into them, put it into me, and I've been able to actually start changing my life. Another thing I used to do is set goals with specific deadlines. For some things in life, yes, you have to set the goals, you have to set the deadlines to keep yourself on track. However, it doesn't always work that way when it comes to your health. I think we set goals saying I have to lose X amount of pounds by a certain date for whatever reason. Now, if you're somebody that's just trying to lose 20 pounds by summer because you want to fit into a bathing suit, I'm not talking to you. If you're talking about making a change for your life and improving your health, there's no deadline on that. There is absolutely no deadline on that. Do not set a goal for yourself that you have to lose a certain amount of pounds, because again, you are not in control over that scale. You do not determine how much weight you're going to lose. You are only in control over the choices that you make. Now, sure, those choices that you make can influence the results on the scale, but if you are saying, I have to lose 2 to 3 pounds a week, or I have to do this by a certain date, you're setting yourself up for failure, because if you don't see those numbers, now you're going to feel like you didn't make it. And your anxiety goes up because you are trying to reach a certain goal. And for what? For what? There is no end goal. That's the thing that we have to understand. This is a forever journey. We're not talking about dieting. We are talking about finding a way of life that actually takes care of you. That's what we're focusing on, okay? We are taking care of ourselves, and that is a never-ending, lifelong process. Honestly, at the end of everything, what it comes down to is just doing better for yourself out of love. We are not disciplining ourselves, okay? We're not in trouble. We're not eating well or working out because we're being punished. We're eating well, we're working out, and we're taking care of our overall health because we love ourselves and we want to treat ourselves well. And that's something that I never saw before. I never loved myself. I never treated myself like I was worthy of care. I treated myself like I deserved to be punished. And so that's what I did to my body. And the things that I put in it and the things that I put myself through, again, not just weight related or food related, but everything that I did to myself and allowed to myself was a reflection of how I felt about myself. And as I'm learning to love myself, it becomes easier to take care of myself because I realize that that's what I'm doing. If I put good things in my body because I want to nourish my body, because I love my body, I want to feel better, I want to live longer, I want to enjoy life. So there are 100 different things that I could talk about in this video, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Like I said, I will go into more detail and talk about a lot of other things related to this topic over on social media. So please go follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, if you have any insight, if you want to share anything with me, let's teach each other, please leave me a comment or send me a message. And that's it for today. So until next time, you all take care. Bye-bye.